Hello everyone, Simon here again with AvaTrade, and today we have our your weekly trading plan. And of course, I hope everybody had a great week, an exciting week, and I hope due to all the things going on that everybody's safe and healthy in the family. And let's move on. We'll start as usually with the risk warning, which is important, and I'll read it. Any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purpose only and should not be construed or applied as investment advice, a recommendation, or suggestion. CFDs are complex instruments and come with high risk of losing money rapidly due to leverage. 71% of retail investors' accounts lose money when trading CFDs with this provider. You should consider whether you understand how CFDs work and whether you can afford to take the high risk of losing your money. And you can find a full risk disclosure statement at avatrade.com. And let's move on to the charts. Just before that, this is our agenda. Again, we'll look through indices, commodities, Forex, and stocks. And of course, you can find us and contact us through the social media. We have a lot of webinars and information posted. Okay, we'll move now to the platform. And there are a few things we spoke about last week, and of course, the following week is continuation. So we'll go, and before we go into the charts, I just want to go over something that happened on Friday. As you know, the most watched event as far as economic announcements or numbers is the NFP, which is the non-farm payroll, and it's usually being posted on the first Friday of the month. And that includes the most important information: how many new jobs were added, excluding the farm workers, and it also includes unemployment, average hourly earnings, and a few other numbers. So the most important thing that was announced on Friday, actually, the numbers of people hired, uh, they were actually beating the expectation. They were expecting 870,000 jobs added, and the number was 943, which is higher than expected. And unemployment was also much lower than expected by surprise. They were expecting 5.7%, and the numbers came out to 5.4, and immediately triggered the thoughts that the Feds will try doing something. They start tempering kind of a cutting supply of printing money and possibly looking into moving into higher interest rates earlier than expected. And we'll go through it. We'll see how actually currencies and dollar reacted to that. So we'll start with the S&P. We'll just go through our usual suspects, the S&P 500. Okay, and then last week we saw the range, and let's see the weekly chart, and we actually broke previous week high and we all-time high. So the high on Friday was 44.33 and the close was 44.30, almost at the all-time high. And this is something that will be interesting to watch in the upcoming week, because again, there's nowhere to put the stops on the high in case you're looking to short. And if you're buying, it's also a possibility, like whoever was buying the breakout of Thursday. And let's see what the market is doing. Let's see how we develop next week, how public will digest this news, and what kind of news and recommendations will be posted by our famous analysts of Wall Street. Very interesting. But if you're looking at the daily chart, it looks clear, the new time high. If you look at the 4-hour chart, The last 4 hours was hesitating after this indecisive candle here, so it's going to be interesting. Let's take a look at Dow Jones. Dow Jones, similar idea, made a new time high. And again, for those of you that like to analyze candles, you could see that this could show a reversal possible. We're not going to guess here. We'll just watch and see what happens. And the first thing we want to watch, if we're looking for reversal, is coming back into this area right here, roughly 35,000. This is the area where you sold out, and that was in May. And if we do come in here and the traders will be looking to short the market, at least we have our potential stop, which was a high of the week or all-time high. We can use it. And last week we said the Nasdaq was the weakest, and it actually remained the weakest of three. And take a look, on Friday we went dipped lower and close below our level that we posted there, 15,111, and it kind of coming into a potential shorting zone with a potential move to the previous levels that we set up for ourselves. And this is something to be watched next week when the leaders S&P and Dow Jones will turn around. It could be, again, nothing is written or granted, but usually if the leader is going lower, the laggers will be increasingly going lower on that day. So we will be watching Nasdaq on the potential move lower. Let's take a look what FTSE did. We didn't make all-time highs, but we did close. Remember we said last week that we opened and closed at the same level. It was total indecision here. And we had a strong week the week just passed. And if we're choosing to go higher, this could be our indication here, 70, 80.5. We can even draw the level here. And if we choose to follow the down move, and we could be going lower in this level here, 68.89, the level of this candle here, it could be our indication or possible target, or the first target. DAX, the German index, also had an attempt to make a new time high. Let's take a look. High here was 15,804.50. High here lower, and we didn't make a new time high, all-time high. So this is the level that remains all-time high still. Let's draw the level just for visual, and we didn't touch it. So if we look on the daily chart, we sold out from here to our level of 1511, and there's a possibility again, if the market starts fearing a possible tapering of the Feds or any other central banks, other countries, other regions, we could see the market turned around, but we're not going to guess. We'll see how the week starts and how we move along. Dollar index, let's take a look at this move. We spoke about dollar index. We came to the area here, and that was our previous week, and we said that the level of 92.38 could be possibly a buying indication here if we break on the highs. And actually, I just want to show it to you. On the daily chart, it was a beautiful breakout to this level. And then if you can zoom in, let's say on the 1 hour chart, take a look how great knowing the levels works. This is a 15-minute chart. Let's just focus on this one for a moment and look for potential trades here. This is our levels, the same level. I'll just go back, the same level that we posted here, right? This is the high of this high range bar or candle, 92.38, and then we go back to 15. Take a look. We were trading, let's say, if you really have patience and you're looking for that trade, when we came to this level, we didn't retrace the opposite. We actually went high after all this move, and we start building up about the level. And take a look over here. Remember we said sometimes you see a limited buyer or limit buyer that just want to buy. He doesn't want to move, just sits there. And the moment the instruments start going higher and it held the line, potentially you could have bought a high over here or just bought straight at the level and using around these levels. We're talking about 2-3 cents on the dollar index, and take a look what happened. Of course, all this move happened right after it's 12:30 GMT time when the numbers came. So of course, nobody's a hero. There's no way you could have predicted it, but take a look how beautiful the market already showed that it's getting strong here. And it gives us a great opportunity for the stop just in case if we were wrong. So these opportunities are really, really amazing if you're really preparing yourself and if you following the levels and you understand what's happening there. Okay, again, so that's dollar index. Now, what's for this week? Let's see if we're holding this rally and if we finally be able to reach to the levels that we mentioned. And this is the level from which we made a move to the downside. So of course, first we want to see these levels break. That's 93.16, and then potentially this level could be the one to be retested. And the weekly chart, again, you could use this. Some people like formations. You can consider this a W formation, which could have our continuation to the upside. Let's take a look how the week progress. Euro dollar. Euro dollar, remember we set up this level. Similar idea. We set up a level, but we said if we go below it, it could be a shorting opportunity. Let's take a look. Similar idea here. If we go 15 or an hour chart or a 30-minute chart, of course, this came with the news, I believe. No, actually not. So 15-minute chart, if we just zoom in, take a look. We had a lot of trades, a lot of accumulation going on around this level with up and down, and take a look. After this a breakout, it failed, it came in, try it again. So in a way, we established this intermediate level. I'm going to remove it in a second. So, if you didn't short it here, a trader could have tried to short here or here or even here and catch a very nice move down. And actually, we spoke about it last week. If we do break this level here, 1880, we have a possibility of about 150 to 100 pips move, and that's exactly what happened. And the stops, if I'm remembering it correctly, we said we have a 25-30 pip stop, so we have a 30 to 100, about 3-to-1 ratio. Beautiful trade, and it's a solid trade if you really prepared for that. Pound is actually stronger than euro, definitely, and it's been holding up. It's been holding up within the range of the previous week, so it's hard to say what's next. We just want to use the range of previous week as our area. So if we break higher, people like to trade breakouts, could look for longs. The shorters could look for shorting it, and vice versa. At the bottom here, the buyers could be buying at the support, and the short sellers could be buying the breakouts if we break that level. So that's British pound. Yen, dollar yen. Let's take a look what we got here. We had the sell-off, but again, it just followed the dollar. We had the sell-off. We broke way below the previous 2 weeks, but we recover high. It's a very strong side. And what we want to do, again, we see dollar. If dollar continues getting strong, we want to see this level broken here on 110.30 level for possibility to going higher. So that's yen. USD CAD. USD CAD weekly chart. It's inside candle. So it's something to watch again for the previous week high or low as a possible entries for sellers or buyers. Let's take a look at the daily chart showing anything. On the daily chart, we did break Thursday's high as the dollar got stronger with the announcement of NFPs. All right, let's use a weekly chart possibly for. So the high of the previous week, 126.03, let's say 126, and the lowest 124.20. It's about 100, 180 pips range. Let's see what this week and how it starts. Australian dollar. Australian dollar, we spoke about it and we said that coming to this area here to the level 0.7371, we said we're entering a shorting zone, and we actually even set up this zone right here, and we are still in this zone, and it looks possibly good to the downside because we don't have the strength to break, but still you have to be cautious. You have to watch what the dollar index is doing, of course, and you need to take the previous week range as potential. Actually, right here, the range is 0.7316 on the downside and 0.7412. It's about 100 pips range. And if we do take a look what happened here, we opened at 0.7341 and we closed 0.7353. It's about 12 pips difference between opening and close. It's a very tight range. So some traders might actually enter here on the sell side as we are opening and closing below the level that was set up. We didn't really manage to close even closer to this level. On the daily chart, we can look it up. So some people could look for shorting it if the dollar continues getting stronger, to short here with a very solid stop here. So the lowest 0.7346 is a short, the highest 0.7403. It's about 50, 60 pips stop. We spoke with the potential move could be anything from 100 to 200 to 300 pips. So if you're risking 50 to, let's say, to 200, say 4-to-1 ratio. And again, you can always zoom in and take a look even over here after this move. You see there's no bounce. There's a building up for potential. Again, I say potential, there's no guarantee. Nothing is for granted. And there's a potential move lower if we break out from this area here. So Australian dollar is very interesting on the radar. USD ZAR, let's take a look at this champion here. And we spoke about it. And I remember I was saying there's nothing exciting coming out from South Africa, unfortunately. And take a look, the week that just finished. We went lower. We probably got or picked up a lot of stops over here. We closed again higher over here for potential move higher if the dollar index continues moving higher. So this is the ZAR. And I added 2 more pairs for this week, something that I looked up and it looks interesting. Take a look. This is the Euro Swiss franc. On the weekly chart, you can draw the levels here in a way. Take a look. This was the low when we bounced, but I will show you a daily chart. That's something that caught my attention, and this is amazing. We had to move down all the way from 109.70, let's say, to 107.20. That's 250 pips. And the last day, it was a huge move, a large candle. So something to look for. And the buyers could be looking to buy about this candle. And if they do, the stop is about 40 to 50 pips, and potential move, it could be great. Let's take a look at the chart. You stop at 40 to 50 pips, and if the instrument decides to move to at least this level here, you have about 100 pips here, 150, and so on. So this is Euro Swiss franc, and you have another one that I added, it's a Euro GBP, and take a look. This is a level from which we bounce, and last week we came close to it, and we didn't go. So to watch this level, 0.8467 level as a possible buying area, and if we do break lower and start building up some price action below this level, there's a potential of going retesting a lower level. So that's another 150 to 200 pips here. But on the daily chart, that's something you want to watch. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 days down. Let's see how the 4-hour chart looks. Okay, we start building up inside candles here. That's very interesting. So it could be a possible entry for reversal, and if it does work, it could give us a move from, let's say, 0.8475 to 0.8557 on the 4-hour charts, about 80 pips, and with the stop of 10, 20, 30 pips, it could be a good potential trade there. So that's Euro GBP we're watching now. Gold, take a look at gold weekly chart. You remember when we started to set up levels, this is the large candle that we set it up, and take a look, we stop right there. Okay, so the low here is 1760.91, and the low here is 1758.61. It's about $2. We broke $2. We came right back. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Let's take a look at how we bounce from this level. Very interesting to watch gold. What's going to happen? You know, the gold, it's been called few names like safe haven or anti-inflationary instrument. And when announcement came and the dollar moved higher, gold really sold out. And we'll be watching what's next for gold. Let's see, a few hours. See, after move down, there was no bounce really. There's a little consolidation here for possible move where we don't know. And there's a serious level here, 1, 2, 3, and that's around 1760 area. If we do break and we start closing on the 1 hour charts here, there's a possibility for move down. Very interesting. I'm very excited to watch gold. I hope you'll be watching it as well. Crude oil, very, very good possibility we had here. And remember, we said if we break 72.32, there's a possibility that we're going to have a strong sell-off, and actually that's what happened. If you take a look here again, I like to remind you that the plan, or when you do plan, your life is much easier. Let's take a look. We did set it up, and we set it last week, 72.32. If we break that level, take a look at how the level builds up for a long time. A lot of action around this level, here, 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 and finally we broke through it. And let's take a look on the smaller time frame if there was a better entry. It's hard to see, but we do. Let's say here, if a trader that followed this plan and put sell stop at let's say at 72.25 below it, with a dollar stop. Again, for some people, it could be a lot. Depends what position you trade or what's your trading strategy. But let's say if you had a stop of $1, that was about $4 or $5 move, which is a nice ratio. So let's take a look. Let's try to think what oil can do potentially, and take a look at the whole week. We came to level over here. It could be the level we'll be holding, and most likely we could continue lower, and that was the level where we bounce from here, and that's 65, let's say 65 level. And again, there's a lot of things that affecting crude oil, and the main reason it went down because the inventory started building up, so supply is high. And my opinion, the last announcement by Biden, actually, it could be affecting also oil. It's not immediate, but basically what happened, Biden said there will be really working on bringing the percentage of electric vehicle to about 50% by the year 2030. Okay, it's not tomorrow. We still have 8 years to go, but the focus is very, very strong. And of course, eventually, the demand for oil will shrink. So this could be also something that added to this move to the downside. Let's quickly look at the coffee. We spoke about the move. Of course, move already happened, and we did on the daily chart. We did cover the gap, and we're not going any lower here. So this was the plan. Usually, the gaps are being filled, technically speaking, and let's see what happens. It's really tight range here on the daily chart. High low, it's about $4, $4 range. And let's see, whatever your plan is, just as we mentioned before, try to not to get caught in these huge ranges, and look for entries closer to either support or resistance. I also brought up corn, and take a look the move after this build up from around 430 to 450 area. We moved to 732, and we did it in 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks on the upside. Then we sold, then we almost retested it, then we sold again, and now we're building around the same range. Very interesting. And I just want to mention, every time you see a build up after a move, let's say in this case there was a move up and a build up, most of the time it will be in the same direction if there's not immediate bounce back, and it did happen. So now we moved to the downside, but something that caught my attention even better than that, it's a daily chart. Take a look how we gapped down, we almost closed the gap, we came to retest the level, we held the support around 524, and now we moved higher. We're not coming back to retesting it, we do consolidating um, about the level. They can't even bring it lower, so there is a possibility that this buildup will be followed by the move higher to retest uh, the next level over here and possibly higher. We don't know. We don't need to know. But one thing we should pay attention is when you have a build up on the daily chart. Let's take a look. It's a very tight range: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 session. We're really building up a position here by big players. So something to put on your radar, and you could look for possible entries to the breakout, which could be the high on the buy side and the low on the sell side, or you could just zoom in, let's say an hourly chart, and pick your spots for possible entry. 4-hour charts looks interesting. Let's take a look. Let's just draw the line so it'll be nice visual. So we held this support here, 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 and here. All right. So should we go lower, a trader could take a chance for buying around 540 with a stop, probably one of these tails. It's about $3 to $5 stop, with the potential could be huge. Or if we're not coming in, a possible play could be buying a breakout around these levels. We had a fake breakout. We came in. We had another limit that we hit, 560, and it could be the next attempt could actually break and continue going higher. So your potential is here. Let's say 560 to 570 is about $17, and the stop, let's say this is a 4-hour chart. So if you're buying a breakout, you probably put the stop of one of these candles here. 551 is about $9 to $10 stop. with the potential profit of double or triple of that. It could be a trade. Again, use your own judgment, measure your own trades. Disney. I brought Disney up. We looked at it last week, I believe, but now we have Disney reporting on the 12th, and it's going to be after the market. Let's take a look what the chart is doing. Similar idea what we just spoke about. After this move, we went higher, we came back, and we're consolidating here. You know, huge tails, not easy. And if you switch to daily chart, you have a strong day on Thursday, and you have nothing much on Friday. We went higher but closed pretty much at the same price. Open and close was within 10 cents, 10, 20 cents. So this level 179.33 is something that we want to watch. And this is the weekly and daily chart. This is weekly chart here. If we do trade higher, start building up, we could go and retest here. And if we fail to break through this level and start building up below, we could actually sell. We don't know what the earnings are, but sometimes the chart is already reflecting some actions. And if we speak logically, US is really suffering with the Delta variant, unfortunately, and Disney gets a lot of revenues from the parks and everything else. Of course, movies and other things are not being affected as hard as the public places, but it could be that earnings will be lower. Again, I'm not here to guess. I don't really predict fundamentals. It's not my thing. But let's take a look. Judging by the chart, with all this failed attempt, we could actually sell off over here. So watch Disney. And let's go through our regular suspects. Amazon, we spoke about it, sold out, and it's not bouncing. So again, we'll draw a few levels here. Let's see how it acts. We have Boeing. Nothing much. It's very, very hard to make everything out from this chart. Very choppy. Facebook. We had higher closing last week, but we're still within the range of the previous week. So the levels of this, we said the higher range could be our indication of the range. So 375 by 334 range was still within the range. Friday we failed to close. About Thursday, let's see if the market pulls in. We want to watch this daily level of 357, 358 area. If we come in here and we start building some price action below, we could go lower and retest the previous levels of support, which could be a nice short trade here. Microsoft is having a hard time going higher. That's the weekly chart. This level is still holding. The level of 289.80 is still holding. On the daily chart, we had a little sell-off. We failed to go higher than the previous level was sitting there. So similar idea. If the market comes in and Microsoft tried to bounce, some traders would be probably looking to short here with the possible move to about $7 lower. So that's Microsoft. Again, everything depends how the public and the investors and the big players will digest the NFPs. And of course, now they'll be watching any development or any announcements from the Feds and possible actions, or at least plan of actions as far as the interest rate and the tapering. Netflix, nothing much happening here. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Again, we had the fake breakout against the Thursday high and we closed lower. That could be a possibility, but it is really a choppy trade at Netflix since the earnings were not so great and they're trying to implement new things, including the games. So we could see a move to the previous level of support, 505, 506 area. Again, depends what the market is doing. Now, Tesla, it did break. Remember we said it couldn't break 696.77 area. They did break it. It could be actually on this excitement of what Biden said. I don't know the time frame of that, but we did break out. It was a pretty good move. We went as high as 725.95. That's about 25 to $30, and now we came back to the same level from the top. So now the trick here is, are we going to establish support here? As you know, the moment the resistance being broken is being tested for being a new support. And if that's the case, that's very interesting, because if we really do hold this level, the next thing we want to go and retest the high of this bar here, 725 or 726, and that would open a path to the higher levels here. We bounce less time, we bounce from this high 780. I mean, the opportunities are great there, and you just take one step at a time and see how we're holding. Just take a look. We retested the level, and then we slowly kind of moving or bleeding lower, but we are failing to break it. So this could be our new support here, 696, 697 area to watch on Tesla for the possible move higher. And of course, if the market's hardly pulling in, even with all the Biden's electrical vehicle plan, at least for time being, even the good stocks will be sucked into selling. So we could see actually this level broken and go and retest the lower levels. Let's see how the week is. And Pfizer, beautiful. We spoke about it the moment they announced few new developments, and so far it looks good. We did break 41.90. We spoke about it last week, and the week we just finished was also strong. These are not huge numbers percentage-wise, of course, but it is going higher. And if we do continue, we just want to see a retest of the 46, 46.50 area. And if we do break that, the sky is pretty much the limit. We could continue going higher. So that's, of course, a COVID-related instrument. Google, we said that Google is strong. It's remaining strong. There's no selling. Pretty much after this move higher, we have consecutive 2 weeks on the green candles. We are strong here. And let's see what this week will bring on the Google stock. Again, the same thing, I'm repeating myself again, but this is the reality. If the market pulls in, it will pull in the stocks, even the leaders with it. So just watch that. Apple stock, we had a week that is pretty much open and close at the same level, 146.20, 140. It's about 30 to 40 cents different. So this week we want to see what's next. If you look at the daily chart, these 2 days were pretty much identical. We closed lower, so that shows the potential move lower. So if you were to short the low of Friday, which was 145.47, that the high of that day could be possible stop, and potential it could be from $1 to anything else. We can go and retest the previous levels on the Apple stock. Let's take a look. There's also fundamentally something that caught my attention on Apple. I think it was on Friday, the announcement, either Friday and Thursday, said the Apple will be scanning users' photos on possible child abuse or child molesting thing. I'm not sure. And I really don't know how it will affect the stock. Again, it's a privacy issue probably, and people don't really like when the pictures are being watched or scanned. So that could be also something that could potentially move the stock lower, and actually did on Friday. Maybe that's something that we'll be watching. We spoke about Uber, and we said that the SoftBank was selling, I believe, about 45 million shares. I don't remember the number correctly. So we did sell, but then we closed about the level here, and we went higher and closed higher. So interesting development. What's this week will bring for Uber. Let's see how the market will act on it. General Motor, okay. GM, it's very interesting. The numbers came, and then the stock sold out. And there's the articles around that the Biden's announcement again for 50% electrical vehicle, it's positive, and GM was affected by it as well. Let's take a look. The last 2 days were on the upside, but we still didn't come to this to the gap, and that's 55.33. And if we do, we might go and close the gap. But another thing, there are a few banks, and UBS Bank set up or raised the target for GM from $77 to $79. Again, other banks also raised the targets. I don't know how the market will take it, but usually the targets are being raised for a reason, and sometimes they actually match the estimation. So GM, let's see what this week is. Again, we just want to see this large candle as a range. So if we do break higher, we might go and try to close the range and might even possibly move higher. Let's see how it plays out. That's it pretty much. So again, just to summarize, NFPs really moved the market. Dollar index had a nice move at the last day of the announcement, and the currencies retraced against it. And let's see how this weekend will affect the markets, how we open the Monday session, and how the market will digest the robust numbers for the employment. And let's see. It's going to be a very interesting week. Even though it's August, you could feel that the volume is a little bit lower and there's less excitement, but this NFP could be something that bring excitement to the upcoming week. Okay, I'm just going to switch the screen again. And I wish everyone an amazing week filled with positive energy and positive trading results. And of course, you can find a lot of recordings on the YouTube. And I hope that all the educational material we provide is useful and practical for you. All the best. Have a great week.